piece of Death Note news that I'm confused about. Look, I gotta be real with everybody. I have not seen the Netflix live action movie yet. Neither one of us have. However, Friday night movie slot, we haven't been able to do that in a while. I don't know. Maybe do some Death Note?
Oh, you're gonna make me do this right now.
I might. I just might. But now here's the thing, right? So the thing that I'm confused about is the news is, if you're watching this through YouTube, then you already know from the episode title, live action Death Note director Adam Wingard, I was going to say Alex, Adam Wingard discusses possible sequels. Here's the thing. I haven't heard more than about a couple, and I say a couple, about 2 to 5 people, say, I really like that. I gotta be honest, all I've heard is, I didn't like it, and silence. I haven't heard any, mainstream, outlets, any, larger, I guess, review sites or anything like that go, you know what, let's tackle the Death Note movie. I feel like they've put it, they've kind of set it aside as, oh, this is just that Japanese cartoon adaptation. And then the anime fans have essentially ripped it to pieces. Not saying it's justified or not, but they've ripped it to pieces. So,
but they still watched it.
But that's the interesting thing. So because you laughed at that, and I know, but all jokes aside, because they watched it, arguably it's the same as saying, oh, everyone went to see this movie. If more people went to see Dragon Ball Evolution, even if everyone shat on it, if more people went to see it, then that means that they could have actually had a sequel. Thankfully, word of mouth spread like wildfire. Word of mouth was just insane on how bad that movie was. And then there was no sequel, right? So in this case, it doesn't matter. Funnily enough, it doesn't matter if word of mouth is negative, because if people watching it means that, look, it's weird because we've talked about Netflix before with anime, not so much with live action adaptations or TV shows, but I am a little confused as to how they make their money. And what I mean by that is, I know that they have subscriptions, but they don't have ads. So unless they are selling this movie to foreign networks, I know sometimes foreign networks will air Netflix shows as if they're on television shows, places that don't have Netflix will pay Netflix to air their shows. So I don't know if they're getting money from foreign companies trying to license the show or license the movie in this case. Because I don't know how they could justify if a lot of people are being negative about it, even if they had 1 million people watch it, right?
Yeah.
It's just or more. It's still just yeah, they watched it, but there's no ad revenue to break in from it. So if you're getting negative attention, and even if a lot of people watched it, I don't understand why there would be a sequel. Unless they have, and again, they have the numbers, we don't. They have numbers that state, well, more people subscribed to it, and then the first thing that they watched was Death Note, or we asked them, why did you watch, why did you subscribe, and they said Death Note, right? So if they have those numbers and they, have those surveys, they always have those surveys. They're they ask you this, or they tell you to rate this that way or whatever. Unless a lot of people end up rating it 5 stars, regardless of what I've been hearing and what everyone has been hearing, then I don't know. I don't know what reason they're you know what, there might be a sequel in the works. It's kind of really? Hey, maybe the sequel will be better than the first one. I don't know. Also,
and
yeah.
I'm kind of afraid of that, in the sense I would disagree more likely that it probably won't be. Because the director's even quoted was saying when he initially talked with Netflix about doing this, it would be at least a 2-film series, maybe 3. But the film is designed as a closed loop to have the one film end on its own, but because obviously sequels are never guaranteed.
Yeah,
but
that's his
it
quote.
Could still happen. Yeah. And it's with that in mind, it's can you really think of something that got of a sequel that wasn't with a sequel in mind panning out as well?
Well, no. I think you're looking at it differently. It's the idea that every first season of a show gives itself an out in the off chance that it doesn't get renewed for a second season.
Yeah.
So he, I'm sure, left many doors open that could be explored, but made
Okay.
it
Yeah.
close in the sense that, whatever the ending is, I assume Light hasn't been captured, I would imagine,
Yeah.
right?
The story they wanted to tell in that film had been told.
Had been told, and it could lead to another one. Like, I'm going to assume that they didn't end it with, I'm Kira, right? Obviously not,
Yeah.
because then it's just like, I don't think you're getting real off course here. You did that in one movie. So I assume they did something that it could either end there and say, all right, we're done, or if they want to make another movie, they can make another movie. But a lot of shows do that. I remember the first season of Scrubs had it so if they had been canceled, they had it set up so that the janitor was never real and was always in JD's mind the entire season.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But obviously the show went on, so the janitor became a real person, started interacting with people that weren't JD. So they ended up doing that when the show kept on going. But, and that's why, like, TV shows, or creators, they get really mad when a network doesn't tell them they've been canceled, because they at least want to feel like they closed it in some way or another and not have people end on cliffhangers, because, it's like you have these networks that they might not seem to, they might be like, look, bottom line, we have to cancel it. But the creators are all like, yeah, but that makes us look bad because, like, we could have done something, even if it was convoluted and dumb, just something that closed everything up rather than just keep it open-ended. So I think it's better. I mean, look at Evolution, right? While there's everything that was wrong with it. I mean, again, we can just, we don't, that's a separate show. We don't have to sit there and list everything that's wrong with it. But I think the funniest part of the movie, and yes, funny, is the fact that when you looked at the end of the movie, you saw Piccolo still alive, and I think Mai was her name, I forgot who was, nursing his wounds. And you're sitting there and you're like, this is hilarious. They think they're going to make another one. They actually think they're going to make another one of these. Right? So I would argue that it's worse to leave it more open-ended. Like, it would have been better if that had been cut off and then put on a DVD and not in theaters.
Right.
So, like, the fact that Netflix kind of, from the way it seems, closed everything off so where it doesn't need to be a sequel, it could just be a standalone movie. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure if there should be another one. I mean, again, I would have said I don't know if there should be one in the first place. But we got it, and it's here, and the second one will maybe be coming out depending on the numbers. Are you ready for Death Note 2, The Deafening, Tristan? Are you ready for it? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that he's ready for it.
As much yeah, sure. We'll just go with that.